Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Cherries Red Army YouTube channel. It's 45 minutes till kickoff, and this is Lineups Live in a sunny Bournemouth. AFC Bournemouth take on Middlesbrough at 3 o'clock in the Championship. It's back, no more internationals, and we're going to look at the lineups that have just been released. And I have Steve with me. How you doing?
I'm all right, mate. Good Friday to you.
Absolutely, and good Friday to everyone else. Thank you for the people that are currently joining us on our streaming platforms. Make sure you give this video a like throughout the show. We'd really appreciate that. If you're a subscriber, thank you for following the channel. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe for more AFC Bournemouth content. It's your opportunity in the next 20 minutes to let us know what you think about the lineups and the team that Woodgate's picked. Interactively chat and comment, and we'll drop as many messages on the screen as possible. So the international break, Steve, a bit of a sort of break for the Championship. Do you feel refreshed?
Yeah, no, I quite enjoy the international break. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I quite enjoy a little break. See how the England team's getting on, and a few other the home nation sides. I don't mind it, but yeah, we're raring to go again. Need to get ourselves back on track, don't we? And focus on these playoffs now.
Sunny conditions out there today then. I mean, I'm sure they'll get the sprinklers going as the teams are warming up. But yeah, nice conditions for AFC Bournemouth, do you think?
Yeah, perfect today, isn't it? It's a nice little cooling breeze, nice hot sun. Yeah, it's perfect for football today.
And the press conference went pretty well for Jonathan Woodgate. We'll have a look at the teams in just a moment. But he said at the end of the day, he's got to get down to business. He's the head coach of AFC Bournemouth. He's got an affiliation with Boro, but he ultimately wants to get the 3 points for the Cherries today.
Yeah, of course, he's always going to be professional, and there's none of this sort of secret agent Woodgate sort of rubbish. But yeah, no, he's always come across as that, professional attitude towards getting the next game under the belt, getting the 3 points, and getting some form going. So yeah, no, I don't think there's any issues there.
We'll get stuck into the teams in just a moment then. But do you know what? I want to know if there's a ritual that any of you do out there before a game or during a game. So this could be a particular place where you sit on the sofa, a specific drink. Is there something you do in the morning? Do you go for a specific walk to get you in the game day mood? I'd like to know if there's any rituals out there that you stick to sort of game week out, week in. Now mine is I do try to wear a home shirt when we're playing at home and an away shirt when we play away. Not always. Yeah, but let us know in the chat as we go through the opposition team. Drop some of that information in the chat for us. I'll be interested to hear, and we'll see if Steve's got one as well. But let's get stuck into the opposition then, Steve, the team lineups that have been released for Neil Warnock and Middlesbrough. And we'll go through the team right now. So in goal for them is Bettinelli, Fisher, Hall, Paddy McNair, Bowler, Howson, Morsey, Mendez Liang, Caballo, Balassi, Watmore. On the bench, Archer, Spence, Coulson, George Saville, Johnson, Fletcher, Akpom, and Coburn. So looking at that team, I can't remember from the preview last night how close that was to the previous team that played against Millwall. But there are some sort of experienced players in there that have played in the Premier League and in the Championship.
Yeah, I think Watmore's come in, hasn't he? Akpom's been dropped to the bench, so they've got some definite threat in those front three of Balassi, Cabano, and Watmore. And they've also got some more experience around the pitch, Premier League experience. If you look at the likes of Paddy McNair, Johnny Howson, they've got some decent players in there.
That's an interesting one, Paddy McNair, because AJT on the preview show said he wasn't sure if he'd play because he did play for Northern Ireland on Wednesday, I think, in the internationals, and it might come at too short notice. But he's in there. He is a player that I'm never too sure if he's a defender or a midfielder, but he seems to be someone who takes a lot of set pieces and maybe tries to create chances for those four players.
Yeah, he's kind of I think he's adapted that quarterback role now, sort of spraying the passes around. But and he's got a decent peg on him. He can hit a free kick. I mean, the thing is, I think we'll have too much for him personally. I think it'll be a tight affair. It will be with the Warnock side. I think he'll set them up to try and stifle our attacking threat. But I hope we get enough this time, and we've got enough. We don't do that sort of thing where we struggle to break them down. I think that's going to be the problem.
And I do think we'll keep a clean sheet today. But if they are going to score, it's some of those players that you've just mentioned. Balassi, who has played at Premier League level for Everton and Crystal Palace. Duncan Watmore is their top goal scorer. And Cabano, I think, is on loan from Fulham. So there is match winners in their team that can definitely open a chance to get a goal if they are going to score.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think they will. I think they're all set up to hit us on the break. And, players like Balassi, he's lightning quick. So we've got to watch out for him. Most definitely. I think they're going to be their biggest threat, personally.
So that is the opposition. That is the Middlesbrough team that Neil Warnock's picked today. And let's see what rituals you may have then during a game, before a game. And Daniel is watching the show now and he sleeps and wears my shirt the whole day. That's brilliant. Sammy says, use a certain mug all day on match day. Obviously, a Bournemouth one. Not a back of the net one yet then, but maybe. What else we got here? We got any? I mean, do you have any rituals, Steve?
I haven't got a ritual as far as watching on the TV. Like with, I'll always try and wear a shirt, obviously, and I'm kind of a bit like you. I try and keep the home shirts for the home matches and away shirts for the away matches. When I'm at the ground, I am partial to a bag of jelly babies.
Do you share them?
No, bugger off, do I?
Right. So there you go. Steve has some jelly babies when we're getting back in the stadium. Maybe I'll be able to meet up with Steve and I can share some of those jelly babies if he's nice. Maybe when we've grown enough subscribers, we can get a Cherries Red Army mug for you. Excellent stuff. Right, let's get on to the team then. The AFC Bournemouth team that Jonathan Woodgate's gone for today to get 3 points on the board to get us into the playoffs. Let's take a look. In goal, number 1, Asmir Begovic. Captain, Steve Cook. Jeff Lerma, Dom Solanke, Arno Danjuma, Jack Wilshere. Adam Smith comes back to the team. Cameron Carter-Vickers, Junior Stanislas back from injury. Diego Rico and Philip Billing. On the bench is Mark Travers, Jack Stacey, Chris Mepham, Lloyd Kelly, Ben Pearson, Raquelme, Jaden Anthony, Shane Long, and Sam Surridge. So our previous match was in the Cup. Obviously, Jeff Lerma was missing from there, but looks like 2 or 3 changes. Adam Smith comes back in. Yeah, what do you think of that team then, Steve?
I think it's fine. To be fair, I think it's kind of what we expected. I think it's probably too much travelling involved for Kelly to come back in at left back. So we're sticking there with Rico, my mate Rico. Smith and Stacey debate is probably like you said yesterday. It's Smith, Stacey, Smith. Which one? They both do an adequate job. Roro's a bit unlucky. He's been dropped in place of Stan, I presume, which kind of you would expect. But he must be a little bit disappointed not to hold his place because I thought he did okay. And then Pearson's not in there.
No, so Ben Pearson's dropped to the bench again, and that's a talking point. So let us know what you think about Ben Pearson dropping back out and Jeff Lerma coming in. So one sort of defence-minded midfielder in the team. Philip Billing then got voted on the Championship Review show, Steve, for the goal of the month, and he's up there as well for the official AFC Bournemouth goal of the month as well. He'll probably get that roaming role again, which allows him to just link the play. Is that what you're expecting from him today?
Yeah, I think we've realised now that over the months, well, it's not now, it's years, it's a couple of years now he's been with us, that we finally think we found where his best position is, and it's that sort of 10 role behind Dom, where we don't have to rely on him to make have any defensive responsibilities, and you've got 2 very experienced quality midfielders there behind him in Wilshere and Lerma.
Previously, in our recent history against Middlesbrough, and we talked about it last night, that we have a good record against Middlesbrough, especially at home, and we do score goals. We scored 4, 3. Can our forward line and our front 3 hurt Boro today? And can Dom Solanke maybe notch a couple of goals today?
Yeah, absolutely. And we say this every week. We've got the potential to destroy most teams in this league on our day and at our best. Problem being is we haven't been at our best consistently throughout the season, and I think going up against a Neil Warnock side, they're always going to be defensively solid. So I don't see it as being a bit of a goal fest today. I see it as being a tight affair.
And that's correct, actually, that Pearson didn't play against Swansea. So that's right. Now, one player that we thought there was only going to be one player not fit for this game, and that'd be Lewis Cook on the long-term injury. We won't see him until next season, potentially. David Brooks, we thought he would be fighting fit and raring to go. Not on the bench, not on the starting lineup. Your thoughts on David Brooks today?
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because we've all seen the training videos. We thought he was back amongst it, back in the manager's thoughts, but evidently not. Whether it's a case of he's not quite up to speed as yet. Certainly, we weren't led to believe that. I presumed he was. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's had a reoccurrence, or he's felt a slight twinge or something this morning or recently, and he's had to be dropped out the squad.
Do remember we got a game on Monday as well, so potentially a management situation there from Jonathan Woodgate managing the squad, and we might see 2 or 3 changes coming through at Blackburn into that game as well. SofaScore is currently lining the team up, and you can see both teams on the screen right now. They're currently lining them up with 2 holding midfielders, and Jack Wilshere being one of them. And to be fair, he did sort of play like that against Swansea in the first half.
Yeah. I mean, I would sort of think it's going to be as it was against Swansea, where he seemed to have a little bit more license to go forward, whereas the other just sat and did the defensive work. But equally, he's quite comfortable there, and he can spray balls around better than anyone, really. So I'm happy for him to be there with a bit more license to roam.
And there is talent that we can bring off the bench if we need it, and we don't get ourselves ahead, or we need to get ourselves in the back of the game. We've got this squad that we can bring players like Roro off the bench and Sam Surridge and nick a goal if we need to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Roro, I thought, and I think a lot of people thought, he did okay in the last 2 appearances. So if Stan starts, it's not his greatest position now on the right, and he has had a kind of sort of couple of games where he's gone a bit missing, I felt, and I think others have as well. So if he could be a very good, useful weapon to have as an impact sub, Roro.
Okay, so there are the teams that are going to be starting in about 32 minutes. It'll be kicking off. And now is your opportunity to get your score predictions in, but just wait just one moment, because I do allow you to stick or twist with your score prediction from last night. Now, for anyone who likes a 3-1, I'm going to provide some hope for you. I did promise you this last night. We have had 2 3-1 victories this season. Both were in the first half of the season in 2020. Now, Steve, on one of those 3-1s, it came on a specific day. Do you know what that day might be?
Oh, I couldn't hazard a guess, mate. Why did it enlighten us?
So it came on a Friday. And not only that, the actual date in the month was the 2nd. So we won 3-1 on a Friday on the 2nd of the month. Now, that is the closest we're going to come to potentially getting a 3-1 between now and the end of the season. There is your little bit of hope for you.
Surely it's written in the stars, mate.
So based on that, Steve, what are you going for today?
Based on that, I'm going to go for a 1-0.
I knew you were going to say that. So get your score predictions.
I'm sticking to what I went with last night, and I just see it as being a tight affair. This one, Warnock sides are always difficult to beat.
Get your score predictions in the chat then. We're going to take a look at the other fixtures going on at the same time when Bournemouth and Middlesbrough are kicking off. And we'll also take a look at the table just to see what happens come 5 o'clock, because there is a game at 5:30 as well. Get those score predictions in the chat. We're going to come back, take a look at that and your score predictions before we look forward to kickoff. We'll see you in 20. The other fixtures going on today then at 3 o'clock is AFC Bournemouth versus Middlesbrough, Bristol City versus Stoke City, Cardiff City versus Nottingham Forest, Derby County versus Luton, Millwall versus Rotherham, Preston North End versus Norwich, Queen's Park Rangers versus Coventry, Watford at home to Sheffield Wednesday, Wycombe versus Blackburn. Blackburn are next opponents on Monday, Barnsley versus Reading at 5:30. Birmingham versus Swansea at 8 o'clock. So, Steve, a lot of fixtures today. One in particular, at 5 o'clock, we could be in the playoffs looking at that game and thinking what might happen.
Yeah, we could be, mate. Yeah, we could be, definitely. But we could also not be. I don't know. It's going to be... That's going to be a tough one, isn't it, for both of those sides? I fancy Barnsley, actually, on that one.
Well, I was going to say that we don't need to beat both teams in the playoff, do we? We only need to get ahead of one. So really, what is a good result today? If we get the win and we get 3 points, what is a good result? Is it one of them losing or is it a draw? Because effectively, a draw could take us back out the playoffs again come 7 o'clock.
Well, yeah, you want one of them to lose, don't you? Really? So we stay there. I mean,
ideally, Reading.
Yeah, points on the board is what it's all about, isn't it? And so if we've got them and someone else hasn't, all the better.
Absolutely. So there's your table currently that's before play, and we're just going to get the scores on the doors then. So let's bring that over there. So did you go for a 1-0, Steve, did you say?
As much as I'd love to see a 3-1, I'm going for a 1-0.
Let's get these scores on the board then, and we'll go with Aaron K. How are you doing? 3-1. He's in. Nailed it.
They're all going to be 3-1s.
3-1. 3-1. Sammy's not going anywhere. 1-0. How you doing, Cameron? 3-1. Mark Cole, how you doing? We got a 2-1 in there. We got a 1-1 for Daniel. We've got a 3-1 there as well. Keith, how are you doing? Enjoy the game. I hope you don't fall asleep during that 0-0. Keith's going for a 0-0 there. Carol, how you doing? 2-0. I'm sure you've come back in again. 3-1, or are you giving your scorers? 2 for Dom and a Yannick Balassi goal. Mark Singleton is a 1-1. Chris, how you doing? 2-1. Brilliant. So lots of scores out there, lots of 3-1s. And as I said, don't blame me if it doesn't come in. I'm just trying to provide a little bit of hope. I'm going to stick with a clean sheet. I'm going to go against what I've just said. Sorry, I'm going to stick with a 2-0. Yeah, Steve, we're just over 20 minutes away from kickoff. I know what you're sort of like, Steve. You want to just see a good performance and you want to see pace and tempo and something about us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just want to see us go at teams, mate. I want to see us we've said all season we've got the attacking threats amongst our squad to go over most of these teams, and I don't think we really have put anyone to the sword on a regular basis. We had those couple of games. We had the Barnsley game and the Huddersfield game where we really looked like that attacking threat we want to see. And I suppose I harp on back to the Eddie era of when we just sort of outscored other teams, and that's what that's the football I love to see.
We appreciate that everyone who's joined us in the last 20 minutes. It's back to Championship football, and hopefully Bournemouth can get on a run. We haven't won more than 2 games in a row since the turn of the year, and we're going to have to start putting some form together between now and the end of the season to get into the playoffs. Yeah, thanks for joining me, Steve.
Always a pleasure, mate. Absolutely no problem.
We have got a match review straight after the game, so look out for that on the YouTube channel, and we'll also have a match preview. There won't be a live match preview for Blackburn, but there will be one coming out over the weekend, so look out for that as well. Thank you to everyone who's joined us for our match preview and lineups live. You've got about 25 minutes to get a drink, get a snack, and get ready for the game. We hope you enjoy it. Let's hope it's a good game.
Go get your jelly babies.
Go get those jelly babies. Yeah, let's get out there, boys. Let's get back to winning ways and let's put Middlesbrough to bed, and then we can focus on Monday. Right, enjoy the game, everyone. We'll see you on the next video. Up the cherries.
Up the cherries.